that? That's Superman with the cape and you're shooting laser beams out of your eyes.
I don't wear a cape.
Hey there, quirky folks. Today we're going to pit the tactical leader of the Eternals against the strongest member of Justice League. Yes, it's going to be a Superman vs. Ikaris matchup that I'm sure everyone would love to watch on the big screen. Well, it may not happen, but at least we could imagine it.
Of them.
While we could already see the similarities in the trailers, Chloe Zhao also confirmed that she was a fan of Snyder's work, and Ikaris was heavily influenced by Man of Steel. So pitting Superman against Ikaris would actually be like pitting Superman against Superman. But if you think about it, Ikaris has parallels with both Superman and General Zod. Zod fought to restore his planet. He was madly devoted to Krypton and its people, and he was willing to kill an entire planet's people to terraform Earth into Krypton.
Krypton lives again. What happens to Earth?
The foundation has to be built on something. Even your father recognized that.
In the same way, Ikaris was madly devoted to Arisham's design. He was also willing to kill all the people of Earth to enable Tiamat's emergence from within the planet. But while Zod was totally irredeemable, Ikaris turned to the side of good because of his Superman parallel. He not only has similar abilities to Superman, but he is also driven by love. Lois Lane reminded Clark who he was when he was about to turn Batman into Ash.
Please, just go.
Similarly, seeing Cersei reminded Ikaris about the love he shared with her for 5,000 years.
How long were you together?
5,000 years.
I guess you can call that long term.
And he just couldn't go through with killing her. So, he ended up helping in the stoppage of the emergence. It's amazing to see how heavily Eternals took an inspiration from Man of Steel. Okay, now that we're done with the parallels, let's pit Superman against a darker Marvel counterpart of himself. First, we're going to look at the powers and abilities of Ikaris. In the comics, Ikaris has several powers being an Eternal. He possesses telekinesis. He can levitate others in the air. He can mentally control and rearrange matter at a minutiae level. And he can also teleport himself psionically. But he doesn't prefer to use his power because the teleportation process is physically unpleasant for him. He is also capable of reading other people's minds through telepathy. He used it to communicate with Cersei and mind control Yellow Jacket. And his other comic ability allows him to regenerate any injured or missing tissue. But this is where the comic's exclusive abilities of Ikaris comes to an end. He didn't have them in the movie. Marvel had to depower him so the other Eternals could give him a fight. Now let's talk about the powers he got in the film. The first and the most obvious one is his eternal immortality. He lived on Earth and served Arishem for over 7,000 years. The second most obvious ability was his flight. In the books, he is able to fly 850 miles per hour, which is significantly faster than the speed of sound. Here, he was fast, but I guess not as fast as a speedster. Although, he did catch hold of Makari after a while, so I guess a speedster can't take him down for good. And that's because of his superhuman stamina and durability. He literally took dozens of hits throughout the film, but all those had no real effect on him, and he was ready to go for a few more rounds. So, not only can he fight for long periods of time, but he can also sustain a lot of lethal hits. And we all know that he can fight back with even more killer blows because of the superhuman strength he possesses. Eternals implied that Gilgamesh was even stronger than Ikaris, but from what I saw, their strengths were almost equal to each other. The movie didn't do anything significant to show that Ikaris was weaker than Gilgamesh, and those strong punches of his were complemented really well by his comic energy beams. Ikaris can manipulate cosmic energy, and he shoots extremely hot cosmic beams out of his eyes. This was the ability that he used the most in the film along with his flight. In fact, he actually relied on his heat vision a little too much. But it led to some great visuals, so I'm not complaining. For the final power, I'm going to say that Ikaris has resistance to extreme heat. He didn't just fly too close to the sun, but he actually flew into it, and he was still going even after entering the star. So, I'd say that he can sustain enormously high temperatures, and Superman's heat vision won't injure him. Flying into the sun was his way to sacrifice himself and atone for his sins. But I believe that his eternal physiology may not allow him to die even at that temperature. His death was left vague for a reason, and he could have survived. Okay, that's enough about Ikaris. Now let's get to the character that the entire world is familiar of, including the people within the Marvel Universe.
Dad, that's Superman with the cape and you're shooting laser beams out of your eyes.
I don't wear a cape.
Superman symbolizes hope, and yes, he does wear a cape. And here are the powers and abilities of Superman. We all know that Superman has extreme superhuman strength. He can literally destroy planets if he wanted to. He doesn't have a quick regeneration ability, unless he is exposed to the yellow sun of the Earth. The yellow sun empowered his cells for several years, and he also learned the ability to fly. And unlike Ikaris, Superman can actually match the speed of a speedster. He may not be as fast as the Flash, but he is much faster than Ikaris for sure. That makes his reflexes much better, because he can process and dodge incoming attacks faster. On top of his flight and speed, he also projects intensely hot beams out of his eyes. And he can actually control the level of these heat vision beams. To complement the heat, he has freeze breath. Clark gained the power to focus the intensity of his breath to the point of freezing targets by blowing on them. And his superhuman breath also allows him to survive prolonged periods without oxygen. He has superhuman senses, as his X-ray vision allows him to see past layers of matter unless it is lead. His telescopic vision can even focus on something particular that's miles away. His super hearing enables him to hear even the faint noises from a good distance. So, no one could really use a sneak attack against him. Okay, this is the basic set of abilities that Superman packs. Before pitting him against Ikaris, let me tell you that Supes is also vulnerable to kryptonite and magic.
Magic.
Now, let's move on to the main event. Ikaris versus Superman. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say that the MCU version of Ikaris is not as overpowered as he is in the comics. It won't be easy for Superman to take him down, because he has thousands of years worth of battle experience, and he doesn't even hold back in a fight. But as we saw in the battle between Superman and Zod, even Supes wasn't holding back. Still, it won't be a fair fight between the MCU version of Ikaris and the DCEU version of Superman. The Man of Steel is much faster, and has an extra set of powers. So, unless Ikaris somehow comes up with a bit of kryptonite, he won't win, because Superman can sustain his cosmic energy beams too. But if we were to give Ikaris his comic accurate abilities, then it will be a totally different story. Then, he might actually be able to win because he'd get his speed, telekinesis, and teleportation to complement his flight, strength, and cosmic energy. This would be a fair fight, and to be honest, it would ultimately go in the way the writer wants it. He or she could end the fight in an instant and declare a winner, or they could allow the fight to go on for a while. So after having laid down their powers and abilities, I'd let you guys decide the winner. Who is your favorite, and who do you think would win? Tell us who you'd bet on in the comments. My money is still on Superman. Give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!